I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Old friend of mine, Leigh, I was thinking about this when I was like, I've known Leigh for a long time, and I'm going all the way back with you for the first time we met, which I believe it was called the Blue Chalk Club in Madison in 2008, shortly after the release of Lipstick on the Mirror, and then now here we are 15-odd years later, stolen golf carts, shenanigans. Man, where's the time gone, buddy?
Man, it's incredible the stories we have, and it's just great to still be doing it. You and me both. It's great.
I love it, man. Well, I am very excited to catch up with you. It has been too long, my friend. Leigh Kakaty, Pop Evil, the lead singer. You know him, the front man, the sexy, sultry front man. Is that weird to say? Maybe that's too weird. I don't know.
No, not coming from you, Brock. It's great.
Good. We'll go with it. Well, we got you here. We got Pop Evil here because exciting news. Your 7th studio album, Skeletons, is out now. We're all gearing up for the next title track, the next single, Skeletons, dropping in June. With this 7th studio album, maybe what stood out to you in making this one compared to previous works? What really was it? Anything different that you saw in the studio, writing? What stood out for you?
Well, it was interesting, when we sat down to not only just write this album, but the last one. Both these albums were kind of coming off COVID, so we had a lot of extra time to spend on these albums and to really kind of think about how we wanted to focus on our sound moving forward, and there was a big push to, after COVID to really get back to our hard rock metal roots. We really wanted to focus on one producer, and trying to find a guy that could help harness our sound and create some building blocks for us for the future, and we found that in Drew Falk. He had done some stuff with us in the past with Waking Lions and Breathe Again, and those songs just really resonated with us and our fans live, and it just seems like now more than ever we're all about the live show and what songs that we're going to add on future albums that are going to lift this live experience for our fans and really make it more enjoyable for them. So, there was a lot of that talk, and then, of course, getting in with Drew, there's just something about with the energy that he gets out of me, he gets out of the band, and it was just awesome. We were just kind of having fun. We weren't trying to overthink it. If the songs and the choruses weren't really hitting us right from the bat, then we'd scrap the song. We'd just go to the next, so we were really looking to try to put together a collection of art, so to speak, that moved us from start to finish, and that's something that, we could possibly bring to our show. So that's kind of where our head was at.
And that's a common place where a lot of bands are sitting, and Pop Evil included, is that time, that downtime, which some people may find themselves twiddling their thumbs, but talk about that time and how that really affected you guys and the album you put together.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we had that extra time to really kind of spend on our craft, and usually, like you said, it's full speed on the gas. It's trying to get an album done in a rushed manner so we can get back on tour, because, for Pop Evil, especially, like, touring pays the bills, so, we got to keep the lights on. So it was always, when you think about the previous albums, there was always a rush element that we didn't have this time around, and then the way we release music is totally different now. Since the pandemic, it's just different. We released Eye of the Storm, about a year ago, and now the album's out. So, we're already 3rd single in. It's interesting how now just the whole process of releasing new music and how fans are able to get it. Usually interviews too. There's a lot more FaceTime. We did that actually as we were writing as well. Band members didn't have to be right in the same room at all times, just because, everything now can be emailed, and, we could spend as much as the extra time as we could with our families, because we knew, at least we were hopeful that when the pandemic kind of was over, we're going to be full speed ahead, trying to get back some of that lost time and playing as much as possible. So, we really just tried to focus on some mental health and really we had time to think about those issues that we were dealing with that were really like hindering us. And, we were able to write about those, get those kind of lyrically on the song to hopefully start the healing with us internally off the stage. So when we get back to the stage, we can hopefully help someone else.
I love it, man. Well, we are so excited to see more and hear more from you guys. Again, the new album Skeletons is out now from Pop Evil. And this one, too, as I was looking at the playlist, I noticed you've done collaborations before. I mean, that's nothing new to the band, but you have 3 on this one. Dead Reckoning with Ryan from Fit for a King, Wrong Direction with Blake and the Fellas of Devour the Day, and then Raging Bull featuring Zillion Zillion or Zillion. It's interesting to me because you guys already have such a big sound, and you work so well, and you have your thing. Bringing in that outside element, what does that do for you, and what you're trying to produce and put out there with all these artists and putting that on the album?
Yeah, I mean, when you make music for other people for a living, sometimes you just got to do something for yourself. And like I said earlier, there was an element of fun on this album that we just hadn't had in the past. And again, we had more time, so I think we got down to the last 3 songs on the album, and I was like, wow, let's just collab. And we weren't necessarily thinking about these songs going on the record. It was just like, hey, maybe a collab is an opportunity. And I've been working with Zillion for a couple of years now, so I did a song on his track, and I thought if there was the right song, maybe he could have an opportunity. He's still a new artist. It's an opportunity for him to be exposed, our fan base in a different way. And he really crushed it. Sent it over to him via email, and he ended up sending back over his parts, and I just loved it. I was like, wow, this is great, man. And his energy, he's just so full of energy, man, and his excitement just for youth and just where he's at in his career. It was just it just felt right. And then, of course, Devour the Day. Joey, our new bass player, is also in Devour the Day and Egypt Central. So it was just an opportunity working with him and Blake. Both of those guys have been friends of ours from the beginning. I mean, I think Egypt Central brought us on one of our very first tours. So we have a lot of history there between both of us. So, Blake was a no-brainer. Blake was actually on tour with us for the past couple of years, just kind of making sure, we were kind of re-gutting our internal stuff out. He's really technically a producer as well, so he knows kind of all the nuances of all the new technology that's there, which is very helpful to have a guy like that around. And in the process, we were always writing, and he had wrote this song called, Wrong Direction for a different band, and he played it for me, and I was like, oh, no, I got to have that song. I love that song. It was like the song I would go home and I was listening to in my car, and I was just thinking that I loved it. So I was like, not only and he goes, well, let me ask this band, and he got the band to give the song back, and I said, well, they can do their own version if they'd like, it doesn't matter, whatever the band's comfortable with. And I said, not only do I want a version of it, but I want you to sing on it, because it meant something to me. Blake and I have such history, and I just wanted a song that kind of just was an opportunity. And him and I have both gone a lot of wrong directions in our career, and it was just an opportunity to kind of right those wrongs, so to speak, together, and it was just, again, it was the song for me at the start of it, and then, of course, as it started to kind of get more produced, it was like, wow, this song's going to help with someone else, man. This is a powerful song. It's got to make the record. And then the song with Kirby was just, we were just done, and we're like, look, let's just, maybe we could go as how metalcore can pop people go, on this album, and really shake it up, could we even, what would it sound like, because for being a radio band for so long, we never had time to really push those metal roots to the extreme, because it was like, well, I don't know if it'll get played, but now with streaming, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You just put it out. It was awesome. It was great, but we're like, who is our person? And Drew was like, what about, Kirby? Let's send it over to Kirby. And Kirby sent back his parts in less than 24 hours, and we all just, our jaws hit the floor. We're like, wow, this is insane. And then we were like, look, we don't know what the fans will think, but we're going to just put it out, which, again, we were having so much fun with it, man. It was like, we don't have to overthink it.
Yeah.
If it's a good song, we're going to put it out. If people like it, great. If they don't, next song. It was just, I think that for us, in the pandemic really changed. There's something about the consistency of just releasing records, tour, release again, tour, like that you can get lost in, really remembering why you got into this in the first place was to make new music, to push your boundaries, to get yourself out of your comfort zones and write music that can really start by healing and helping yourself, right? Getting you motivated to take these songs to the stage, letting you be excited again, almost reminding us of when we were kids, man, first in the studio. There was a lot of that excitement, where we started with this album. And I think you hear that on this record, that we were just, we kind of know who we are now as musicians, as people off the stage, and we were able to bring that swagger, that confidence to this album. And it started, pieces of that we could see on the last album, the Versatile album. There was pieces of that starting, but we had multiple producers, so we were trying to find, with actually go back one more record, which was a self-titled, the Waking Lions album. We finally had a producer, and producers are a big part, man. They can be that sixth member that can really bring identity. They can bring confidence. They can really help trigger consistency with your sound, But what happened, we finally had a producer we liked on the fifth album, and he had passed away on a motorcycle accident, tragically. So it sent us reeling on the sixth album. We were like, well, look, we can't just go to another producer. We have to find the right one. So we bounced around with producers, and then, on this album, the seventh album, we finally were like, Drew, we really want you to do this whole record. And, he's such an amazing guy. And he was like, let's do it. Let's roll. ago. It was about a 2-album transition there to really find some kind of consistent comfort with the producer, and I think it shows on this record that, we're finally starting to settle in and really kind of give a lot of precedence about creating some consistency with our sound moving forward.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
The evolutionary point of the band's sound, the ebb and flow that you see, where do you think this album falls? And like I said, you kind of answered that, but maybe hone in on that. Where do you think this stands in the evolution of Pop Evil and the sound?
Yeah, man, I think it's a big pivotal moment in our career. Exactly where it falls, I don't know. I think that's the exciting thing. It's only been out for a month or so it's just it's exciting to see with the fans and how they're going to perceive it here in a year, 2 years. But already it's the most excitement that we've seen fans for an album of all time. So it's just you take the success that the band's had, in the past years and the past albums, and you take that momentum to what fans are experiencing now with us. And I think there's a pride that fans have for us as bands that are still here after the pandemic and still grinding. I think the fans are smarter every year, right? They're more locked in, they're more compassionate to understand that. Look, they understand the battle, they understand the fight that we're out here doing. It's like it's not even about music anymore. The battle we have is we have to become influencers or TikTok or social media stars. It's like that's not really why musicians got into this. So it's such a big part of it now, and posting and so you have that one-on-one relationship with your fan base that is unique. And every year, I feel like you get closer to your fans in a different way, so they can. You can educate them by letting them know what's going on in your life and the struggles you're having as a band. And I think that's really helped, at least when you get it, and hopefully we're starting to get it a little better, at least than the last year and the year before that, is that, you understand about who you are and what they really want from you, and just giving them music that can not only that rocks and that hits, but also that hopefully lyrically can help them in their lives, right? Like we're almost like that Hallmark cards of the modern world, except that these Hallmark cards speak a little more hard rock metal. So it's just like sometimes, we're saying those things, or people are listening to these songs, and it's speaking to them in words that, other people can't. Their bosses, their family members, or their teachers. I think about it, at least for me when I was growing up, no one really could relate to me. I couldn't relate to them, but it was like music was like my ultimate heal session. When I pop on that CD in those days, and I would listen to my favorite songs or my favorite bands, and, I'd feel like, wow, like this band knows me better than my family sometimes, because when you can relate to something, it gives you some kind of a glue, some kind of a purpose to hold on to something and give you that extra bit of confidence that you need sometimes in life, man. Life can be tough, especially nowadays with all the craziness that's out there for everyone. It's important, I think, that for us, especially on this album, to give back a little bit, and as much as, in many ways as we can, and certainly in a 3-minute song, we can, give hope to someone or hopefully inspire them in a positive way. Then that's something that we take big responsibility for, and we really hold that as a high value to what we're trying to do, and help other people as we continue to grow. But it's just something that as you get a little bit further in your career, we really love our fan base, man, and we really want to give back to them, and when we can, and certainly when it comes to our music and our catalog, that's a great starting point for us.
I think that was so well put, and we appreciate you sharing that insight and that look into what that means to you and where you're at with this album. And I think fans all know that Pop Evil cares about them, and we see that now as we continue to grow with Skeletons and this latest accompaniment for the fans out there who's listening. Well, it's out now. If you weren't excited before, you should be at this point, for God's sakes, after listening to this. So go get it, check it out, Skeletons. Skeletons from Pop Evil out there. And again, I ask this to everyone when it comes to new albums, but I think you might have answered it before too. Do you got a favorite track on the album? I know you mentioned that Wrong Direction really spoke to you with Blake and everything. Would that probably be your favorite one on this album?
Man, that's like saying who's your favorite kid, right? No, I'd say not that I have any favorites, but I'm telling you, the new single Skeletons, very, very powerful piece. It's a piece that really hits and resonates on the way, now that we're starting to play it live on stage, the way that this song is a reminder that, we need to focus on the things that make us similar as a species, as human beings, rather than the things that make us different. Look, we all know the differences, right? But it's so important to remember that we all bleed the same color, that we all have skeletons, man.
Yeah.
And it's important that, as we come to these shows and when we experience a live concert, sure, there's this journey of all the people that are in the audience that have come from different walks of life. They have different struggles, different grinds, different kind of obstacles in their life. But the reality for that moment, that hour-and-a-half show or that song, that everyone there is locked in for that, really that synergy that is so unique and so rare. And I think that is important, at least for me as a performer now. You really lock into those moments that really we become powerful as one, as a team, or as a family. And that really resonates. That really shakes me in a positive way. And I think that coming off COVID, it just really, that's what I miss the most.
Yep.
I miss that. You don't realize how much you really need that strength. It's almost like Voltron, that cartoon from the 80s, right?
Oh, yeah.
The lions were all great, but when you form that big special power, right, which is everybody singing along for that moment or what song, it really is something that I craved during, those lost months of touring during the pandemic, and it's something that I promised myself when I get back that I was going to totally change my perspective on, and I'd say Skeletons is definitely one that hopefully is going to resonate with people and remind them to try to be supportive to your neighbors, man. It's important to love. I mean, when in life have you loved someone, did it go wrong? I mean, it's important to just give passionate and honest value to someone, and you being honest and caring about the person next to you, I think is important, man. So, I think that song is going to hopefully resonate with a lot of people the way it has with us, and hopefully, can't wait for fans to see us play it live.
And I know we're waiting with bated breath, so everyone go get it, and then go see them live. You're going to have a great time. Pop Evil, the new album, Skeletons. Well, now that we got the important stuff out of the way, let's have a little more fun. Do you want to do rapid fire with me, and then I'll let you go do your thing?
Yeah,
all right.
Let's do it.
No wrong answers, Lee. None. Just go with your gut. We'll see what we can learn a little bit about you. All right, G chord or C chord?
Probably C chord.
Okay. Everybody Wang Chung or Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting?
Oh, Kung Fu Fighting, for sure.
Flintstone Push Pop or Choco Taco?
Oh, Choco Taco.
Smart man. You got to hook up with one. It's a mermaid with a human top half and a fish bottom, or a fish top half and a female bottom half.
Oh man, I'd have to take the female top, man. I got to have a nice cuddle. I got to have a girl with nice hair.
Yeah, because the hair is what we're worried about. Soaked jeans or damp socks?
Oh man, I hate soaked jeans. Probably damp socks.
Yeah, me too. Wet denim's the worst. It is the worst.
Oh, the worst. The worst.
Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Oh, man, I want to see both, but I'd probably say Loch Ness Monster.
Okay. Last one. Would you rather fight a man with bear arms or a bear with man arms?
Oh, bear with man arms.
Boy, but if he gets a hold of you, though, he's got them bare teeth. There's no good answer on that one, to be honest.
I just wanted to see it.
That's what you just want to see it. That's it, yeah. Pure curiosity before he murders you. That's all it is. Thank you for humoring me, of course, Lee. It's been such a pleasure, and we love you, buddy, and we just can't wait to hear more.
We love you back, man. Can't wait to make more memories here sooner than later, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Again, everyone, go get the new album, Skeletons, from Pop Evil. It's out now.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.